Hello everyone, welcome back, and I'm here to be talking about my top 10 favorite movie moments of 2019, which is kind of a tradition here for the past few years. I like to give my top 10 movie moments, and then I would do a movies I've seen, worst to first list, where I would rank all the movies I saw in a year instead of doing top 10 best, top 10 worst. I like doing it like that, and it's pretty different because a lot of people usually like to just do a top 10 best and worst. But I'll get to that video later. But here we're talking about the top 10 movie moments. Now, you will see a movie or two on here more than once, so I would apologize, but I don't want to lie. I mean, if I prefer those moments over most of the others, then that's just how it is. Also, I do want to be a bit quicker because I want this to be like the other video was 29 minutes for the top 3 movies per year this decade. Not gonna be that long, don't worry. It's just me giving my brief thoughts on the movie moment in particular and then moving on. There is a couple of honorable mentions, but I'll get to those when I get to number 1. So anyways, number 10 is the library fight from John Wick Chapter 3, Parabellum. Now, John Wick Chapter 3, Parabellum was such a really good film. I had a blast with it. I didn't see the first John Wick because of what happens with the puppy. I don't want to sit through that, even if it is just one scene. But Chapter 2 I thought was really good and a solid film. And Chapter 3 might be the best out of the ones I've seen, where it's basically just him on the run. He's like diving deep. We dive deeper into this world of assassins and stuff. He's having to meet up with old friends and enemies, and so much action, so much intensity. It's such a blast. And it basically, the opening fight, this library fight, sets the tone with how brutal and just epic this movie will be. You could feel every punch, just how they were chatting with each other a minute prior. It was just such a crazy and pretty like at the end, like you hear the and I was like, ooh, like it was a great fight. Number 9 is the portal scene from Avengers Endgame. Whoa, only at number 9? I know. I wanted to try to add more variety to the list instead of it all just being Marvel. But this scene really, it was one of those scenes where it had my jaw to the floor because seeing all these characters on screen at the same time and playing the Avengers theme, the iconic theme, and just them running into the battle. Although I didn't like how Captain America whispered, he was like, "Avengers, assemble." I did not like that at all. I wish he would have yelled it, but no matter, all of them on screen together and it's hyping up the music and they're all running in the battle. I was just like, wow, this was really impressive. Number 8, Back to the Hotel from Doctor Sleep. Now, yes, Doctor Sleep was definitely one of my favorite movies of the year. I was so excited for this because it was going to add to The Shining, which is a phenomenal movie. I love that movie so much. And I was hoping like going in, it wouldn't all just be about fan service and stuff, and it would have its own original story to tell. Well, quote unquote original, because it's based off the novel Doctor Sleep. But I was really hoping that it would be its own thing and it wouldn't be begging on fan service and stuff. And for the most part, the story is completely different because the first movie is more claustrophobic, suspenseful, and just tension driven, while this one is just about this cult of people that go around and kill kids and stuff with the Shining ability that Ewan McGregor, he plays Danny Torrance, how he had in the first Shining. So I just thought like it was a really unique spin on it. And they, of course, when they do go back to the hotel, which they do, it just did everything I wanted it to do. It wasn't too in your face. It had some fun moments to call back on the original, and it actually makes the original makes a lot more sense once you go back to the hotel, because the original is so ambitious and so really just weird, especially with the ending of that, how it's confusing. This movie actually helps me like figure out that movie more, so I really appreciate how this movie was able to connect itself with while being something completely different. And I just thought it was this scene in particular, just them back at the hotel, was fan service done right. It actually added to the lore and fixed stuff that I had questions on the last movie, and it just was it fit in really well with this story. I enjoyed it. Number 7, the third act fight from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Now, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood was the newest film from Quentin Tarantino this year, and it's getting some awards buzz, but not as much as previous films. and it had its fair share of controversy, but I think one thing a lot of us can agree on was that the final battle at the end with the Manson murder, people who instead, like, this is where history changes, which Quentin Tarantino did with Inglourious Bastards, is instead of them going to murder Sharon Tate and the friends at her house, they get sidetracked and go to Leonardo DiCaprio's house with Brad Pitt and all. And it's basically, while Leo's just on his pool, just listening to his music and stuff, Brad Pitt's like completely, he's gone. He took some kind of thing, and he's just all loopy and stuff. And just the dialogue that has, how it's set up earlier, how he listens to Brad Pitt's commands, and the dog just straight up attacks them, and how they just get destroyed. And how it ends with the flamethrower gag from earlier. It was so hilarious. It was perfect. It was all the gore that you would expect from a Quentin Tarantino movie. Because this whole movie is just pretty chill and stuff, with some cursing and all. But there wasn't really any violent stuff until this third act. And it had everyone laughing, cheering. Like, it was pretty great. Number 6, It's Not Your Fault, from Pokemon Detective Pikachu. Yeah, like, I was one of the people that really did enjoy this movie. I wish it did better at the box office and critics. I mean, it didn't bomb or anything, but I was really thinking this movie would have potential, and I really enjoyed it. And especially this scene, like, it was after where they get like a wreck in the case, and they're just that the music that plays by Henry Jackman, and how they're just talking to each other, wow, it really hit me. I thought it was really well done for a scene, and definitely this type of movie. I wasn't really expecting something like that, and I just really liked it. Number 5, that end credit scene from Spider-Man Far From Home. Yes, something so insanely big and crazy. Like, the spoilers in this movie almost rivaled Endgame's, in my opinion. And this is one of the reasons why. Because for them to put it during an end credit scene where people walk out and leave and not know about this mind-changing event that will be in the MCU is flabbergasting to me. Because he got his identity revealed, not only by Mysterio, who we thought, I'm pretty sure he's dead, but, he still got one up on him. But J.K. Simmons coming back as J. Jonah Jameson, someone from the Raimi trilogy, like, the hype was through the roof in my theater. Everyone was like, it was pretty excellent. And just how Spider-Man's like, that's how we all were. We were like, what? It was perfect. Like, it was one of the best end credit scenes for a Marvel movie, easily. Number 4, the argument scene from Marriage Story. Now, Marriage Story was a pretty spectacular film with some powerful performances from Adam Driver and Scarlett Johansson as that couple who's been going through like a really rough divorce, and how they're juggling their kid and stuff. And they're like trying to be, they're not trying to like hate each other and stuff, but they're just like, how awkward and difficult these situations are. And it all comes to head in this one truly magnificent scene of acting that a lot of people may make fun of on Twitter and stuff, but I don't care. I thought it was really excellent, with them just digging into each other, saying stuff that they probably don't mean, but they're just trying to get the other so angry. And it just ends with just kind of quiet, and they regret what they said. And I was just like, wow, this was truly an excellent scene in the movie. And it was a pretty great movie, but wow, that scene, people will say from years to come, that scene is the scene that you need to see for Marriage Story. Just watch the movie just for that scene. And I agree, that scene was excellent. Number 3, and I Am Iron Man, from Avengers Endgame. Of course, I had to put this on the list, guys. Like, this was truly, we saw we were thinking who would be the one to die. Like, just like in the last Infinity War, who would die, Iron Man or Captain America? And when Iron Man in Infinity War got stabbed, we were like, oh my goodness, it's him, no! And everyone was like, but then Endgame, when Cap got knocked over, and we were all like, no, but then the portals thing happened and all. But when it became pretty obvious what was going on, and Doctor Strange was like, I was like, no, don't do this, no. And they did it, and wow, what a way to go out. It was really powerful. The music hyped it up, and just after when it was just pretty great, and it was pretty excellent callback to the first Iron Man. Like, that was perfect. And to hear that was a last minute addition, wow, that was excellent. Number 2, the whatever it takes speech from Avengers Endgame. I know the third one for Endgame, but this speech, like, it's the one where before they go into time travel, when they're all planning on how they get the stones and stuff, and then they do that slow walk to the time travel thing, and they're all in the suits. I'm like, yes, this is what we've been sitting an hour and a half for to see in this movie. And it's just the buildup of everything they've lost and what they've all overcome, teaming up once again to put things back into the right. And it was just such a power. It really hit me as a fan. It was such a great moment. I was so thrilled. And there was still like an hour and a half more in the movie, or 2 hours to go in the movie. I was like, yes, we have more to go. Let's do this. It was perfect. Now, before I get to my number one, which I'm pretty sure you guys might know, I have 3 honorable mentions, so I do want to get those out of the way real quick. Honorable mention number 1 is the opening car crash from Shazam. I honestly thought when I saw this would be in my top 10, but there was just so many more moments that came out that I liked. But this opening scene was one of the first this year where I was like, whoa, because I wasn't expecting, like, Shazam was a really dark movie at times, and this really set the tone where it could be, like, the villain had such potential to be fantastic, because this was a great origin. He's hated on by his older brother. His dad doesn't like him that much compared to his older brother, and he's always put down upon. He's like nerdy looking. When he has a chance to get this power from the wizard, the wizard just pushes him aside because he failed an impossible test. Like, come on now. So there's so much potential set up there, and then the car crash happened. He's blamed for it, and I was just like, whoa, this was a great setup. Kristoff's song from Frozen 2. I know it's a meme, it's a joke, and it is ridiculously dumb, but it was one of those moments that stuck with me still. I still think of it because it was so weird and out of nowhere, and on paper it should not work, but it was so excellently executed, and it was just hilarious. You guys need to watch this scene. Like, you must. It was just crazy dumb. It was hilarious. And Black Widow's sacrifice from Avengers Endgame. Yes, this was the other one of the other major deaths in the film that had a lot of us like, oh man. But yeah, I thought that this scene was really powerful because it was done differently, where it wasn't as heartbreaking and depressing as Gamora's from the last movie. But this one, like, she chose to do it. It was basically her and Hawkeye fighting on who would get the stone. She won, and it was just really wow. And especially how shocking it was, because her movie, we knew was coming out, but we didn't know it was a prequel. So we were like, wait, what? And I was just like, wow, it was really well done, even though it was pretty similar to Gamora's. Alright guys, number 1 is late night appearance from Joker. Wow, one of the most shocking, crazy scenes all year, and in a few years, if I'm honest with you guys. Like, the scene, how it builds up, like, throughout the movie, they're setting up, like, Joker, how this guy's really depressed, he's always picked on, he has no friends, he has an awful life, and they were setting up on how he was gonna, he was gonna off himself. But when he gets into the room and he just sees everyone's constantly making fun of him and just not taking him seriously, he decided he wanted to make a point on it. And just some of the stuff he says, like, is really just like, wow, because how, like, you can see he's definitely in the wrong, and it's just disgusting, but how they treat him and stuff is just also awful. Like, how he says how if I was the one that, instead, like, when he brought up on how he killed those 3 guys, even though they were assaulting him, but no one really knew that he killed the 2 guys in self-defense, but the 3rd guy he just cold-bloodedly killed when he was trying to get away. But how he brought up that if it was him that died instead of those guys, no one would care and they would walk over him, which is kind of true, sadly, and at least in this movie. I mean, it's really sad. And then when Murray was calling him out for doing that stuff was bad and stuff, it is bad. Like, there's moral gray area where both of them are in the wrong, because he brought him on the show just to make fun of him and laugh at him, just like everyone else has his whole life. So both people in the wrong, but just how over dramatized and how it calls back to The Dark Knight Returns from that late night show, but it was more comical and more over the top and unrealistic. This one feels so real, and it's just really, it really shook me. Like, it was one of those moments that had everyone in the theater gasped and shocked, and just like that just summed up the message of the movie on treat people with kindness, don't treat them bad. Mental health is a serious problem, and it was just a really powerful movie, and the score humming in the background of that scene and throughout the movie really cements it. So, with all that said, those were my top 10 movie moments of 2019 list. Did you all enjoy or agree or disagree with the list? If so, please let me know down below in the comment section what some of your favorite moments of the year was. And if you want to hit the subscribe button, that'd be pretty great. Hit the bell as well to get notified when I upload. And if you want to follow me on Twitter, it's SoraSable or @SableSora. And be on the lookout. I'm going to be doing my movies I've seen worst to first list for 2019. Again, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye.